Hey guys, it's your girl Eda. Aside from being the Let's Talk Paralegal podcast host, I am a legal consultant, author, and advocate for change within the legal industry. Every episode, we dive deep into the tools, strategies, and real world insights you need to succeed, featuring inspiring guests and topics that matter most to the modern legal profession. So, if you find value in these conversations, be sure to subscribe to the Let's Talk Paralegal podcast and download our episodes for your commute, coffee break, or brainstorming session. And if you know someone who could benefit, don't forget to send them our way. Referrals are always welcome. Let's create a stronger, more empowered legal industry together. Hiring isn't just about filling a role, it's about building the right team. But too often, the process feels transactional rather than human. In this episode, we're redefining hiring through transparency, feedback, and respect. I'll break down common hiring pitfalls in the legal industry and share how firms can create a people-centered approach that fosters long-term success. Whether you're hiring or job seeking, this episode will change the way you see the process. Listen in for more. Hey guys, and welcome to the Let's Talk Paralegal podcast. Today I'm going to talk about probably a topic that's going to hit home with a lot of job seekers and even hiring managers, because I feel like they kind of go hand in hand and we all go through the same struggles, and yet we don't really talk about it. So that's what the Let's Talk Paralegal podcast is all about. So we're going to talk about why transparency matters when we are hiring or finding a job. Whether you're the one applying for it or the one hiring, we've seen these moments, right, where the process could use a little bit more clarity, honesty, and of course, respect, right? I think the one that sparked me the most was when I was having a conversation with a paralegal that was looking for a job consistently, and she kept getting these emails that say, "Thank you for applying, but we've decided to move forward with another candidate." And then a few days later, they see the same job reposted. So that's frustrating, right? And it leaves like the candidate wondering, what was it me? Was it my qualifications? Maybe I didn't get to interview right, or something that I didn't know about. So it leaves kind of everybody hanging and really doubting themselves in the process. And that could be very frustrating and of course questionable, right? So the kind of experience can be disheartening for job seekers, and the hiring managers, well, they owe it to them, right? They owe it to them, they owe it to themselves to handle that recruitment process with more transparency and respect, of course. So today I'm going to share 3 key ways that we can bring transparency into hiring and why it's so crucial for both sides, because I'm all about equal opportunity here. So the first one is clarity, right? So clarity is obviously going to go a long way, and that's for both, right? So we're first going to talk about the clarity, and if you're reposting a job, communicate why. Is it because the role's scope was changing? Did the original candidate pool not align with the company's needs? By sharing these details, you're not only building trust with potential candidates, but you're also helping them grow, right? So a clear explanation can turn disappointment into a learning opportunity, which is what we want. Imagine how empowering it could be for a candidate to understand that the position's requirements shifted or that their experience wasn't quite aligned. It gives them a chance to reevaluate and even prepare differently for future roles. So, and possibly even one within your company, right? So they can find something else that was a better fit. And although sometimes the hiring managers are overwhelmed with literally thousands of resumes, and it's really hard to be personable, you need to start being personable. You need to start letting them know, instead of "thank you for applying, we went for another candidate." That's not necessarily true. You have to let them know, "Thank you for applying, but unfortunately the scope has changed, or the needs weren't aligned with our company." Whatever it is, whatever the true reason was, you need to be transparent, and you need to provide that clarity to these candidates that are hoping to join your organization for whatever reason. So that's the first one. The second one is honest, right? We got to be honest with ourselves. We got to have that honest feedback, and we have to respect the process. Honesty is the best policy. We've heard this on and on and on. But let's talk about the actual feedback when it comes with honesty, right? I know it takes more time to send personalized rejection emails, but like I was saying, we have to, even if it's a small note about the areas of improvement, they can mean the world to the job seeker, right? And the job seeker can then, hone in on that and learn from that experience. And it's an all around great opportunity for both sides. So let me give you an example. If someone's application didn't make it through because their resume didn't showcase specific technical skills, well, letting them know can be the difference between them staying stuck and landing their next role, if anything. This is where, as hiring managers, we can humanize the process instead of leaving candidates wondering, well, what went wrong? We can provide them with something actionable. Not only does this show empathy, but it also reflects positive on your company's values, right? Because the way that you're onboarding is a direct reflection on how you're going to handle those situations moving forward. And you're providing that negative vibe in the first place. And we don't want that, right? We always want to put our best foot forward. We always want to respect our company's values and missions. And that starts with the interviewing process. That starts with the onboarding. So company values should be at the core of anything that you guys do as a company. And this will also, who wouldn't want that, right? Who wouldn't want to work for a company like that genuinely cares even for their applicants? So even the ones that didn't even get the job. So this shows a lot and says a lot in this like small one sentence or two sentence that you can provide, especially if they were your top three choices and you put them into 2 or 3 rounds of interviewing. I mean, definitely you want to make sure that you take that extra step with those candidates. Let them know the reason why. If you have a colleague that may be hiring for those specific skills, forward it to them. That's a great thing that a lot of people don't really take into consideration, that maybe a colleague can use this candidate. It wasn't a perfect fit for your company, but it might be a perfect fit for the other companies. So move it forward, share the wealth and understand that, it'll only be positive. It will never be negative. But we also want to respect the process. So it's a healthy balance between being honest and respecting the process. So we're going to discuss respect. Job seekers invest so much time and energy and sometimes even money interviewing and applying for interviews and the roles, whether it's in their attire, whether it's getting maintenance, doing their hair, getting the nails done, doing all the things. They want to put their best foot forward as well. So the least we can do is respect that effort. And this means timely updates, clear communication, and treating each candidate with empathy. We'd hope for if we were in those shoes, right? So we always have to put ourselves in their shoes. They're going through a lot of stress. It's a lot of pressure. They're probably financially strapped, or they're in a situation that they're trying to get out of. We don't know what's really happening, and we need to really, really humanize that process. So remember that the hiring process isn't just about finding the right fit or the right company. It's also about ensuring that every candidate walks away with a positive impression on the organization. Because even if they're not in the right fit today, they could be in the future. Or they might recommend your company to someone else. Again, it goes both ways. You can recommend the candidate to someone, and the candidate can recommend it to someone else. But feedback obviously plays a major role on that. So I spoke a lot about the hiring managers. So I want to really hone in on for the job seekers out there. This, I know you're navigating this job search and this new world with personality tests and 5 million questions, and you're wondering, what does this all have to do with getting a job? Before, I would submit my resume and I hope and pray I get an interview, and then after the interview, I'd get the job. And it's not necessarily like that anymore. The reason why hiring managers are focusing on personality tests is they want to see how you're going to work well with the team. And by knowing what kind of personality you have with an algorithm, they're thinking that that's really going to help them. But at the end of the day, they're really not going to know until they actually meet you. So getting that interview is really going to be essential, right? So I want to say this. and I want you to keep going, right? The right opportunity is out there for you, and you'll find a company that values what you bring to the table. Don't let one rejection define that journey, and instead use it as a stepping stone to learn, grow, and refine your approach. So the more feedback you get, the more you want to refine. Make sure that the basics are covered. Your resume is clear cut and concise. There's no misspellings, there's no grammatical errors, there's no fiction. All right, this is not a fiction book. We want to make sure that everything on there is accurate, that you really did have a bachelor's degree in whatever it was, that you really obtained a master's, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure all that is true and accurate, right? Because obviously that can also hinder you. If you are working on a degree, then you say in progress, right? You say presently attending, but you never say that you have it when you don't. Okay, so let's redefine the hiring together, right? Whether you're a hiring manager or a job seeker or just someone passionate about making the workplace better, like me, let's commit to transparency. Let's redefine the hiring process as one that prioritizes communication and mutual respect, even when the outcome isn't what someone hoped for. Because at the end of the day, hiring isn't just about filing a role or filling a role or filing a resume or whatever it is. It's about building a relationship. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced this as a job seeker or hiring manager? What are your most, frequently asked questions or worries? What are the steps that you take in order to create a more transparent and respectful hiring process? Let's keep this conversation going. I'd love to hear from you guys. Our inbox link is always located in our description. And thanks for tuning in. And as always, until justice is served, I'll be here. Until next time. Bye, guys.